Hello everybody and welcome to another week of Makers Monday. I am Anastasia Radloff, aka Stamp and Blondie, and I'm excited to be back here with you for another week of live step-by-step crafting. Now let me just make sure that I'm live. I'm live over on here on Facebook and also on YouTube, so let me just refresh my pages and make sure that I am live on both. Looks like I'm live on YouTube and should be live on Facebook too then. If I'm live on YouTube, let's see. There we go. I am live. So if you're watching, make sure to comment, say hi, let me know where you're watching from. It's always fun to see where everybody is joining me from each week. So let me go ahead and close those down and then we can get started. So I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. It's been beautiful here in Korea. The cherry blossoms are in full blooming season. Yesterday it was like 77 degrees outside. It is just beautiful out. We have plans to eat dinner tonight outside on the balcony, and I'm just really excited about getting to spend more time outside after a long and cold winter. So if you did anything exciting this weekend, let me know in the comments. Let's see, what did we do this weekend? It was just kind of a lazy weekend. Just spending some time. My husband had to work this weekend and do some stuff. And so we really didn't get out too much this weekend. But this coming weekend, we have plans to get out. So I'm excited to explore some more now that the weather is nice. So, I hope everybody is having a lovely day. Hold on just a second. I have a Wi-Fi appears to be, let's see if I can switch that. We will see. Okay. Hopefully we're still good to go. If I'm still good, I had to switch something on my, I said my Wi-Fi was acting up. So if I'm still good, give me a thumbs up. I may just open my Facebook again just to see just to make sure I'm still good. So hopefully we are still good. And if not, this is all recorded, so it will just keep playing. Let's see here. Let's see, it looks like I'm still live, so we will continue on. All right, so today I have 3 projects for you featuring the Extraordinary Flora die and oh no, this was having some problems. I don't know. We will just keep going and I'm just gonna close that. I think if I have Facebook Live going on the same time as I'm streaming, then it takes up too much bandwidth. So I'm just gonna close that and hopefully we'll just keep going. So today I am featuring 3 projects with the Extraordinary Flora die and washi tape. Now this is something that Stampin' Up! Debuted in our current annual catalog last year, and I was hesitant to buy it because normally I'm not too into flower projects, but after seeing what this washi tape does, I was really excited to buy it and then try it out. So all 3 of our projects today actually feature no stamping. We are not going to be doing any stamping. So this is really fun for those that don't want to get a lot of supplies out. We will be creating sentiment pieces that already are pre-designed for you, and then the washi tape does some fun stuff. So let's go ahead and swap the camera. I'll show you what we're gonna do today and then get started. Okay, so first, yesterday on my Facebook page and Instagram, I shared this project. So this features kind of the Extraordinary Flora die and washi tape stepped up just a little bit. I did some watercolor background on these circles here, and then it's hard to see with the light, but I used one of our embossing folders to create this fun background. Again, no stamping on this whole entire project. Just simple watercolor. I used our ink refills. I just did one little drop on a clear block, used our water painters, and then just did a watercolor wash on the back of this watercolor paper. So a simple, easy technique for all of those that may be new to stamping, you don't have to have a lot of skills to be able to do this project, but that's the first project that I shared from Extraordinary Flora. Now here is what it looks like. Now you can get the stamp, there is a coordinating stamp set to go along with this, but we will not be using the stamp set today. I just want to make sure, because normally we have some comments coming through, so I just want to make sure that we are good here. I don't know what's going on. Gotta enjoy that, what's it called? Oh, okay, it looks like we're good then. Okay, so the Extraordinary Flora stamp set, we're not going to be using this today, but this is an option to pair with the die. So this stamp set here, now all the images on the front of this are at 80%, so they're a little smaller than what is actually in the stamp set. But this big stamp set coordinates with the Extraordinary Flora die. And then there's some sentiments, but those are kind of tiny, so we're not going to be using those today. So that is an option. If you do want to stamp, you can step up the die using the stamp set. Instead, we are going to be using the Extraordinary Flora die. It is just one big long die here. And this is the washi tape. So it is 3 1/4 inches wide, and it has these really beautiful floral images all around it. And it starts to go from like pinks, and as the pattern goes, it goes more into purple, cool toned flowers. So how we're going to use this today is in 3 different ways. So the first way here is we're just going to use the washi tape by itself. So you have a strip of washi tape, just to use that as kind of your designer series paper. Really simple to do. We are going to show you how to do that, but very easy. Just to use the washi tape more as like a patterned background. Now for this one, we're going to use the washi tape for the die cut pieces. And so we are going to adhere the die or the washi tape to some cardstock and then die cut it, and we'll be able to use those pieces. And then this one, this is my favorite this week. We are going to use this as kind of a half embossed paper with the washi tape on the other side. Again, more of like a designer series paper, and then we have those floral images here as well. So 3 different ways that we can use this washi tape in a variety of cards. Now all 3 of these cards use the mix and match ephemera packs. And these are just all sentiments. So you have black and white sentiments, and then a varying degree of dark background or white background. Now, these are great for if you're in a pinch and you just need a quick card, a couple flowers on there, and a quick sentiment, and you're good to go. But I like these because, like I mentioned, all of our projects today, we're not doing any stamping. So we have pre-designed sentiments to go along with it, and you get so many different sentiments in here. I think I've had this since it debuted last year, and there's so many sentiments still left. And you have everything from Father's Day to Happy Birthday, Christmas. I think there's Valentine's Day, there's Easter. So all year round, you can use these sentiments for your cards. So let's go ahead and get started. We are going to, before we start on our cards, we are going to do one thing to prep for all 3 of those projects. Now I have a piece of a 3/4 inch wide basic white cardstock. And what we're going to do is we are going to lay our washi tape down on this, and then we're going to die cut. And we're going to have a bunch of these little flowers all ready to go to add on to our projects. So what I like to do is I like to take the washi tape first and kind of go off the edge of our paper, so it'll hold our cardstock down a little bit. So we're going to pull it out here. Now you can use this washi tape by itself, but I like to back it with white cardstock. It really makes the colors of the washi tape pop a little bit more, and it stands out better for the projects. Plus, when you're die cutting, you need the washi tape to be backed by something. So the white cardstock will really help it have that kind kind of thickness that you need to die cut it. Now I have, this is just a scraper. You know, usually you use it to kind of make sure stickers and everything are down. If you do any kind of like Cricut vinyl, that's for this too. But I like to use this and then just make sure it is flat on my cardstock. And then I can use it to kind of roll out my washi tape here. And that will ensure that I don't have any bubbles in my tape as it goes down the cardstock. And then once we get to the end, we're going to have that washi tape overlap again at the end. Plus, when you have this tool here, you can then stick it against your washi tape and do a clean tear. Come on, let me do it with my right hand. That's maybe a little bit better. And then you have a clear tear at the end of your washi tape. So we have our tape down with our cardstock, and you can see the difference when it's backed by the white. It really adheres with it without the white, and then with really makes those colors pop against that tape. We're just gonna lift this up, and around the back side, we're going to fold down that tape and hold it into place. So now all of these are going to be die cut for these little floral images on our 3 projects today. So what we're going to do is I have my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Now I have a magnetic mat that I like to use with my machine, and these images here line up with the die. You just kind of have to find out where everything lines up at. So let's see here. Where can we start? You may have, depending on where your roll is, you may have to start kind of halfway with a die and then do a second cut. Now let's see, where is everything going to line up at here? There we go. So see how these line up at this one, then our next piece will be here, and then we'll have little ones. Now, some of these little die cuts are going to be hanging off the edge of our cardstock. That's okay, because you can still tuck those little, like this little fern right here is tucked behind, but it's actually cut in half. You can't see the other half of it because when I die cut it, it hung off the edge of our cardstock. So we're gonna grab our big Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and we're gonna run this through just like a normal die, and run it through. We'll have to run it through a couple times, but that's okay. So, just gonna move this over here for a second. So here's our first little pieces. We have all of these little die cut flowers that we can now use for part of our projects. Okay, punch those all out. And now we're gonna line up the die again. And all it does is just move right up. So now this one die is gonna cut out the rest of these washi. And I'm not gonna use those little guys, I don't think, at the top there. So now we're gonna run it through again. And we'll have I still have a ton of flowers left over from when I was making these projects the first time. So you will have a lot of flowers with this washi tape. I'm gonna run it back through one more time just to make sure it's in there. And then we can put this off to the side for today. So now we lift our die, and you have all of these little project pieces to work with. And this is great if you like to take your crafting on the go. You can have all these little flowers for projects, all die cut, put in a little baggie, and then you can make your projects. So there we go, all those little pieces. And this roll of washi tape is huge, so you can do so many different things with this and not have to die cut all these flowers. Okay, let's start on our projects then. We are gonna start on this one right here first. So I kind of have my project pieces broken up by the flowers that were the pink, and then these were more of the purple toned flowers. And for this project, we have a piece of strawberry slush cardstock, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. If you want to take a picture of the dimensions, here we go. We've got strawberry slush cardstock. Our designer series paper, the pink piece, is 3 3/4 by 5. And then you need 3 pieces of the blue designer series paper, 1/2 inch by 5. And this designer series paper, at the beginning of the year, Stampin' Up! Started a new program called Product of the Month. And this is the Painted Illusions 12 by 12 designer series paper. And this is the, I think it was February's Product of the Month, February or March. This designer series paper can be added to an order of $75 or more, and it's $5 for the package, or whatever product of the month. It's always a $5 stamp set. This month it's a die, and then this was designer series paper. So it's really beautiful designer series paper, and so I wanted to use it on this project. So 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. I'm going to use our bone folder to crisp up our line here. And we are also going to just glue our piece of that designer series paper right down to the card base. You can see how pretty this side is, but we are going to use the pink, and we want our little scallops to point down. So that will go right there. Now we have those 3 pieces of designer series paper, 1/2 inch by 5, and they are just going to get glued right to the left side of our first piece of designer series paper. Hello, Carol. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Penny. She's watching from Tucson. And my mom. Hi, Mom. My mom always watches my videos. All right, so our strips of cardstock. This is great for using up scraps. If you have those little pieces of designer series paper that you don't know what to do with, this is a great layout for using them. Especially around Christmas time, if you want to like mass produce cards, this is a great way to get rid of some of designer series paper or pattern paper that you may have that is quick and easy to put together. Oh, thank you, Carol. She says such a pretty card. Okay, I have 2 pieces of cardstock cut from the Everyday Arches dies, and Strawberry Slush is going to be our bigger one with Basic White as the smaller, and we're just going to glue them together here. And we're going to add this on with dimensionals to the card base. I should probably make sure that's straight. Okay, and I have dimensionals. There we go. Right here. And that's just going to go on kind of the left side of our card, overlapping those 3 strips of that designer series paper. Here we go. And that will go right there. Now it's time to add on our sentiment. So like I said, we're using this mix and match sentiment ephemera pack, and this is carrying over. So everything you see here today is carrying over to the May to August catalog as well. So I wanted to highlight items that were still going to be current and can be purchased. You don't have to worry about them running out on the retirement list right now. So our sentiment's going to go right in the middle, and you can see how much of a difference just adding those flowers really elevates that project. It's very simple. After we have all these die cut little pieces, now we can add them in. Now, because some of these are different colors, I'm going to bring in all those extra little pieces that I had die cut earlier to see if any of them are the same here. We may just have to go with different colors. Yep, we will go with different colors here. So we're gonna take this purple, and see the purple still kind of works, so we will go with that. And we're just gonna glue these on bit by bit to the card here. And we may be picking different flower images as well for some of these. And this purple one. The best part about all these little flowers though is that because you have all these different designs, you can mix and match all these little flowers on here. Let's see, we'll do some of these little tiny purple ones in the corner of the sentiment. And with this, you can add as many flowers as you want, but I think just a little framing the thank you really steps it up. We have a little leaf that we're gonna tuck in behind thank you. And these are all going on with liquid glue. And then in the corner here, we're gonna add some pink. Okay, and we're gonna use one of these. And then to cover up where those two overlap each other, we have this little, it's not a sunflower, but like daisy, I guess. But daisies are white, so I don't know what flower this is. And we're just gonna put that where those two overlap. And that is our first project today, featuring the Extraordinary Flora Designer Series paper, or die and washi tape. So really easy to put these together once you have all these little flower pieces cut. You have so many to choose from. You could really mix and match and make them however you would like, but there is our first project today using those little flowers. I love it. This little blue makes the color pop out, and then if you get some of these purple flowers in there, you can tie in the blue as well. And then this designer series paper is actually ombre, so as it gets lower on your paper as you cut it, it does bring in some of that blue as well there too. All right, so that's our first project today. All right, our second one, we're gonna do my favorite one this week, the Thinking of You card. This is where we're going to emboss half of our paper and then use washi tape on the second half. So let's move our flowers here out of the way. And we have, if you want to screenshot, there are the measurements. We have a piece of crumb cake, 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. And then we have a piece of basic white cardstock, 4 by 5 1/4. So that is what we need. We also have a piece of strawberry slush cardstock that I pre-die cut with the Spotlight on Nature's dies. So I got that there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna fold our cardstock, use our bone folder to crisp up that line, and then we're gonna set this off to the side because we don't need that just yet. Now our piece of white cardstock, we are going to emboss with the Lazy Daisy embossing folder. So you can see, bring it closer, you can see what it looks like. Now what we're gonna do for this is, because this is a large embossing folder, you can't put your piece of cardstock this way and run it through the machine this way because it's too wide. So what you have to do is turn your paper portrait mode and run it through this way. So what we're going to do is use this black line as our guide for our piece of paper here. So that will tell us about how much washi tape we have to be able to put on the card there. And I just want to make sure that everything's kind of straight and our piece isn't too wonky when we run it through the machine. So you have half of a piece of basic white that will be embossed. So let's grab our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. This is why we aren't using the mini embossing machine today. Normally with that Flora die, you could use the mini machine, but because we are embossing with this giant folder, we have to use the big machine. So we have our number 1 plate, And our folder, sorry, it's probably off camera, but I'm giving you the instructions. And then plate number 4 will go on top here to emboss. Now let's get our washi tape out of the way and then run it through the machine. Oh, see that cracking noise? That's okay. That's what it's supposed to sound like. Now the when you run your embossing folders through the machine, you always want to go hinge first. So make sure you always put the hinge first in there. And we take this out, and then we have our half embossed paper, and we're going to put our washi tape right down the side here. So I like to add a little bit of washi tape off the edge because it helps hold down the paper. There we go. And we're going to use this little, it's not a scraper, but kind of, as we go down the edge to kind of make sure there's no bubbles in our washi tape. And then rip it off the edge here. Now, depending on how much embossed you have will depend on how much washi tape you have. But I like to use scissors for this part. It's just a lot easier. The washi tape is very easy to cut. So just quick scissor to trim up the side and make it flush. And there you have your washi tape down the side here. So very easy. Now on my sample, I did more washi tape than the embossing. This one I did more embossing than washi tape. So it just depends on how much you put of that basic white into your die cut machine. All right, we're gonna glue this down. And when you use embossed paper, I always like to use my liquid glue. It gets into the crevices of that embossed paper and helps it really stick to the cardstock a lot better. So we're gonna add that here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flip this over just to make sure that those fibers stick together really well. You can even use your scraper here just to make sure. Okay, there we go. Now we have our die cut piece from the Spotlight on Nature. Let's see, it's the internet. Hopefully it's still going. If not, like I said, it's all recorded, so we'll keep going. So we have our Spotlight on Nature die, and what we're gonna do first before we add that to our card base, actually, no, we're gonna add it to the card base now. We're gonna add dimensionals to it. So this just pops right on. And this is gonna go on the left side of our card here. We are going to then take our flower pieces and then just create like a spray of flowers along that side there. So we've got this bigger piece. It's gonna go down first. We've got this big flower. Let's do this little flower here. Right there. And then this bigger flower we're gonna add with dimensionals, and that's just gonna go right in the middle of between the two, and it's going to stand out and kind of pop out from the others. So there. Thank you. Barb says this card is really pretty. That'll go there. And then one last bit, this little fern is gonna tuck in here, right back there. So we're gonna add that with liquid glue because that'll give us a few seconds, excuse me, to kind of stick that where we want it. There we go. And then we're gonna come in here with our mix and match ephemera pieces, and we are gonna do the thinking of you sentiment. Let's get that here. And that's gonna go on with dimensionals as well. Lots of layers on this card, but they're really easy layers to put together. And that will go right side up. It'll go kind of right there. And then a final touch, I have these metallic gems, and we're gonna use 2 of the rose gold colored ones, one of the large and one of the medium sized gems. And they are gonna go kind of right in there. So we have our large gem and then our medium size. And that is our second project today with the Extraordinary Flora die and washi tape. So very fun project to put together for this one, and I'm really liking the way this has turned out. Now let me make sure, because like I said, I have this little like notice up there that I just want to make sure. Okay, yeah, we're still good. All right, so there's our second card today. All right, now this last one, Mother's Day is right around the corner, and so I wanted to create a Mother's Day project. I know my mom's watching, so Mom, if you get this card in the mail, just act surprised like you've never seen it before. And be like, oh my gosh, what a beautiful project. Because my mom always watches my Facebook Lives, so she probably is watching this right now, seeing this. So we have a piece of basic white cardstock, 4 1/4 by 11, pool party cardstock, 3 1/2 by 5 1/2, and then another piece of basic white cardstock, 3 1/4 by 5 1/2. So layers for this one. So here is our card base, which is 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. Okay. We also have that piece of pool party cardstock, so we are just going to glue this right down to the middle first. And that'll go right there. All right, now that piece of basic white cardstock, that's 3 1/4 by 5 1/2. We are gonna take that and add our washi tape to it, just like we've done for all the other pieces of white cardstock before. We are then going to use this washi tape like designer series paper. So you just want to line up your paper. Again, with the washi tape, you want to, it's gonna bubble if I do that. With the washi tape, you want to put it off the edge a little bit, and then you can wrap it around the back when we put the card together. Okay, get the scraper out, make sure there's no bubbles in our paper. Okay, a little extra and tear. And then this, you can do like we did the first time when we die cut all these pieces. Just fold it over the back. Now I do that on this one so that the washi tape doesn't kind of peel off. My mom said I will act surprised. I love getting your cards in the mail. Okay, well, act surprised. What an amazing project for Mother's Day. All right, that's gonna go right in the middle of our paper there. Now I've also pre-die cut a piece of pool party cardstock, again with the everyday arches. So here is that. And that's gonna go on the upper right corner just like that. So we're gonna add that on with our dimensionals, because this is gonna be the focal point of our project. We really want it to pop out. And come on, the edges are always kind of hard to peel these little backings off of. There. And that's gonna go right and it's gonna align with the edge of our card. Let me just make sure it opens the right way. And there we go. Now our sentiment, Happy Mother's Day, that's gonna go on there as well. Everybody, I have no idea what just happened. It's like the program that I use to broadcast my Facebook Lives just completely shut down. So we're gonna continue on with our project. We were working on this Mother's Day card. So let's go ahead and swap the camera and we will get right back into our projects here. Okay, so far on the last video, we added our washi tape to the white cardstock. We added our pool party and our card base. We have our piece of pool party cardstock that was cut with the Everyday Arches dies. And now we're gonna add on our Happy Mother's Day sentiment here. So we're gonna add that on with dimensionals. That's gonna go right in the middle of our project here. Let's go ahead and refresh Facebook just to make sure, see that we are live. There we go. I don't know why it just randomly stopped in the middle of the broadcast, like the whole program just shut down on my iPad. So we will continue on. We have our sentiment here with our dimensionals, and we're going to add that right to the middle of our card. Now we are going to add some of these little flowers to the side here. First, we're going to add them on with liquid glue, and that'll go there. And then our second one's going to go on with a little dimensional. We're just going to cut some of these little side pieces for what we need. So that will go in the middle here, right there. And then we're going to use two of these pink flowers. Same thing on the opposite side. First, we're going to add the liquid glue there, and then the flower with the dimensional. It's a good thing I have my window shut because it sounds like they may be launching airplanes right now. All right, we're gonna add some of this linen thread to the project here. We need about 7-8 inches. Excuse me. And we're gonna need 2 pieces of that. So we will take our thread here, tie that into a bow, and we're gonna add this on with a mini glue dot. That'll help really tie that and bring that easy on to our card. If you use any other kind of glue like liquid glue, you may accidentally put too much on there and then you have glue all over your project. So mini glue dot is perfect for adding on this linen thread here. And we're just going to take the ends here and cut that together. So with our mini glue dot, we're going to add our, come on, there we go. And that'll go right to the side of our card there. And there we have our last project today, featuring the Extraordinary Flora die and coordinating washi tape. All right, so let me bring in all 3 projects that we worked on today, and you can tell me in the comments which one is your favorite. We have the Thinking of You, Happy Mother's Day, and our Thank You project. So let me know which one in the comments is your favorite. Like I said earlier today, the Thinking of You is definitely my favorite project this week. I love the embossed background with just the side of washi tape to really make it seem like a piece of designer series paper. All right, everybody. Well, thank you for joining me for another week of Makers Monday. I look forward to seeing you next week as we continue making some wonderful projects together. Until then, have an amazing week and I will see you then. Bye.